Hello and welcome to the channel that covers everything where health and technology meet. Today I'm going to be covering the Whoop, Fitbit, and Apple Watch from a fitness perspective. And I'm going to break down each one. And after I break down each one, I'm going to give my thoughts on which one I think might be best for you. And my goal is to keep this video very on point so that way you can get your answers quick and move on. But if there's something you want more details on for any of these devices, let me know in the comments down below and I will try to cover that for you. All right, let's jump in. So I've been using each of these watches for a while now. And each one has neat features that may pull you in depending on your goals, what motivates you, and what data you're looking for. So let's start with the Apple Watch. So the Apple Watch has some serious pros and cons, and I'll cover that a little bit more in my recommendations at the end of the video. But one of the major cons is that from a fitness perspective, and that's what this video is about, it probably has the least fitness and health integration built into it when you compare it to the other products in this video. And that doesn't mean it's bad, it just depends on what you want out of your fitness tracker. So let's cover some of the pros that you will get with this. It's motivational. Those rings are simple but effective. And if you're taking your health and your health goals seriously, you're gonna work hard to close all those rings. And when you buy something like this, I personally believe that most people buy it, not necessarily just for the data part of it, but for the motivational factors that are built into it. And when you know that you have those rings coming at you every day and you want to close out all of them, they can really contribute to motivating you and helping you be more active and working towards your health goals. So that is a big pro of the Apple Watch. It does have various heart metrics and history, including BPM alerts. It has challenges and rewards. So again, motivational tools are just things you want to achieve, things you want to work towards, and make sure that you don't miss, which again contributes to you being motivated to work towards your health. And their Fitness Plus platform is available, so if you want content and different tools to help you work towards your health, you can utilize that part of Apple's platform. Now, as far as cons go, one of the big ones for me is the battery life just doesn't last as long as the other fitness trackers. Where they might last 6 to 8 days, this is really just a one-day wear watch. You have to charge it sometime every day, which is usually going to be while you're sleeping, but some people do that in the morning or maybe while they're taking a shower, getting around in the day. But the point is you have to take it off somewhat regularly, and you're losing out on data when you do that, and sometimes you just forget to put it back on. So there's another opportunity to miss out on data. And I like those fitness trackers that you can just basically leave on as much as possible and get as much data as possible. So personally, I like the other ones as far as battery life goes. There's no advanced sleep analytics. They have some basic information, but things like deep sleep, REM sleep, light sleep, and the different things that a lot of the other devices can give you is just not available on this platform. And that's something that I really like because I believe that getting good sleep can contribute to your entire day and your health and weight loss and different health goals you might have. And so when you don't have that information to see, oh, here's where I'm struggling, I need to work on this to try to get better sleep to better improve my day, it's just a big factor that you miss out on that you do get from the other devices. So that's a con for me. And the last thing is that this is expensive. And I'm not saying it's not worth it. It just depends on what you want out of your fitness tracker. If you really just want the fitness tracker features, the health things, the motivational tools, the health tracking information, well, this is kind of overkill. And you might be able to go with another option that doesn't cost you near as much, but you get just what you need. But if you want all those smartwatch features, but still getting a level of fitness, well, then this might be worth considering, but you got to understand it's going to cost you a lot more depending on what you want out of it. So I hope you're finding this video beneficial, and by the end, I hope you feel more informed and that like you're buying the right product for you. But if you don't mind, take 1 second to help out my channel and hit that like button. I really, really appreciate it. And if you'd like to continue to support the channel, I do have links to different products down below if you do decide to get them, and that does help the channel as well, so I appreciate that. Yes, I'm that guy. Next up is Whoop, the new guy in the block with a promising future. Now, this one is a little bit different than the other two because it is just a tracker. There is no watch interface, there's no screen on it, so you're not gonna see incoming text, you're not gonna be able to see what time it is, you're not gonna be able to interact with this at all. So you have to think of it as only a fitness tracker. So if it can't do those other things, what can it do? And one thing that's very neat about it is that it takes a different approach from other trackers, and that's more geared towards maximizing your performance and understanding your recovery. To me, it just seems a little bit more fluff and a little bit more direct. It is watching you all day long, so it's understanding the strain of your day. So based on what you do, how hard you work, it's gonna come up with a strain score. But then it also watches you while you sleep and comes up with a recovery score. And based off of this, it's gonna tell you how hard it thinks you should work out. So if you wanna maximize that next day, it's gonna tell you, here's where you should be. So you can't underdo it or overdo it. You know exactly from a maximizing your output perspective what you should be targeting. Other things that I like is that it provides sleep analytics, HRV, sleep state, sleep recommendations in terms of how much you should get for the day, performance scores, historical information, and more. Other data points you associate with a fitness tracker are also there. Average heart rate, calories burned, resting heart rate, respiratory rate. Overall, a lot of good data points to help you better understand your current health, how your body is handling your health decisions, and calorie burn information to help you calculate intake versus burn to help you create calorie situations that you are trying to achieve. It also has a long battery life. I haven't fully measured it, but I'd say I usually get between 6 and 8 days out of this. So I can go a long time without having to actually go charge it. And then when I do, it doesn't take long to charge. And I have it right back on my wrist capturing that information. So moving on to the cons, it doesn't have a screen. I know I already covered it, but when you have something on your wrist here, you just associate it with having the time on it or being able to do some basic functionality. And I know if you're just wanting a fitness tracker, it might not be a big deal, but when it's there, you think about, oh, I should be able to check the time, but you can't. Oh, a text came in. It's so easy to be able to go, oh, and just read it. Maybe it's something you don't have to reply to right away, but you can just see that quick little glance of what the text is. But it's kind of a tease at times, so that's one con that I came up with. And last is that the band can be a little bit hard to remove at times. You kind of have to put your fingers in here, put your hand on the backside and pop it out, and you have to really press hard. And sometimes it is just tricky to do. You have to do it one-handed, and it can be a little bit annoying. Minor detail, but that's another con I came up with. And last up, good old Fitbit. Been around forever, hasn't changed much in quite a while, but you know what you're getting. Now I've had quite a few Fitbits over the years, and for the most part they've been pretty good. I've had some issues, some have reached end of life, but for the most part, my experience has been pretty good. So let's jump into the pros. And my first pro is price point. Now, not that they're all cheap, but you kind of have a lot of choices and you can kind of pick what works best for you, spend the amount of money you want for the functionality that you want. And when you compare to something like an Apple Watch, you're able to save a lot of money, maybe get just the functionality you need, nothing extra, but still have a smart watch that does some neat functionality without breaking the bank. Next up is battery life, and much like the Whoop, I've been getting 6 to 8 days out of this unit, and I've tested multiple newer units, and that seems to be where they all fall. So again, you get to keep it on your wrist, you have to keep taking off charge, you don't forget about it. It's always on there collecting that data for you, and I really appreciate that. And another nice pro is all the data it collects, and it collects things like steps, calories burned, floors climbs, activity zone minutes, distance moved, exercise tracking, heart rate tracking, resting heart rate, historical information. There is just a lot of things captured that you get to look over and better understand what you're doing and can use that to motivate yourself or try to improve your health or notice improvements over time as you have been putting in the work. It also has the advanced sleep tracking, which I described in the Whoop part, and how much I appreciate that. It has a lot of the same data points, something that I think is critical to really maximizing your well-being and understanding your health and making improvements that you will notice. And my last pro is it still has smartwatch capabilities. It is not an Apple Watch, so you have to understand, do you want just that phone but in a watch format, or do you want something that just tells you time but also does some neat functionality that's enough while being a fitness tracker? It depends on what side you fall on, more fitness tracker or more smartwatch. But this can do stuff with Amazon Alexa, you can take calls through it, you can see text, you can still do a lot of things. And then obviously you have your displays as well, so you can see your stats throughout the day without pulling them up on your phone. So you still get a lot of neat functionality without having so much that the price point goes way up. Now, as far as cons go, if you read reviews, they do seem like they have a higher chance of breaking. Now, I think I've been a little lucky. I've had some issues over my time, and I probably had 6 or 7 of these things, but it just does seem like there's a higher reported rate of issue. I haven't noticed it, but I want to make sure I make you aware of that. Another thing is that it's not a true smartwatch. So if you're comparing this to the Apple Watch and you're really focused on the smartwatch capabilities and you want to just be able to open apps and do all sorts of functionality all from your wrist, well, you're not going to get that as far as how you compare it to the Apple Watch. It's a much more limited scope as far as what it can do. Another con for me is that it just has not changed in a long time. Like I said, I've been using Fitbit devices for a long time. And when you use devices like this, you buy a new model, you want wow factors. You want things that are like, wow, they really added something cool here. I'm very excited about that. That is a game changer. I'm looking forward to when they do kind of blow you away with something new that just makes you really want that and not just feel like you're getting the new upgraded model, but it's almost the same. So now that we've wrapped up the pros and cons for each one of these, let's talk about which one might be best for you. And luckily, I think this is pretty easy because each device is unique. They're really not the same device. You don't feel like, well, they're all basically the same, just small differences. They are built very different, and they're also built for different audiences. So let's start with the Apple Watch. So when you think of a fitness tracker, if you think of having all the functionality of your phone, all that smart capability, but built into a watch and has some fitness tracker, this is where the Apple Watch is gonna shine because it does so much. You have to think that it leans more towards the I do a lot of other stuff and fitness is part of that. I don't focus on fitness, but that is a byproduct. That is something that's included, but you get a lot of other things. So if that's where you fall, you're like, hey, I want a watch that's fancy. I want it to be able to do so much for me. I want to be able to open apps, and fitness is part of that, then the Apple Watch is probably gonna be the best option for you. Now, as far as the Whoop goes, it has a very promising future, and to be honest, I'm very excited to follow it because I could see in a year or two new devices with new capabilities being launched, their programming going much farther and be able to do much more with it as far as the app on your phone and things you can do with it. But as of right now, I think it kind of has a specific audience falling mainly into two groups. First is athletes, and I don't mean like I'm just getting back into fitness, I'm just starting to try to take over my health. I mean people that are completely focused on their health, always have been, and they want to maximize their results. They want to know exactly how hard they worked the day before, how much recovery they had, and how hard they should push themselves the next day because they want to maximize their output every day because they are working towards serious performance athletic goals. And second is people that don't care about smartwatch functionality. You don't care about looking at it for time. You just want it to track your data and give you some neat information in your app on your phone and let you understand your health, understanding how hard you worked, and getting those fitness numbers, but also getting the more advanced side of understanding how hard you worked and maybe how hard you should work in future days and be able to plan your day around that. But if you just like fitness only, I don't care about anything else, simplify it for me, well, then the Whoop could be a great option as well. And last up is Fitbit. And I'm gonna say I think this is the device for everybody else. And a large reason for this is I think a lot of people that watch a video like this are probably just getting back into following their health, their fitness, and trying to make smart decisions with their diet and how hard they work out and how much they exercise and just understanding that and wanting those basic things that you would get out of a fitness tracker, those motivational tools, the tracking of all the basic information, sleep analytics. You get a lot in a small package without breaking the bank. And that's why I think the Fitbit could be a really good option for everybody else. All three products I really enjoyed. I think they're great and each has their place for different people. But as far as that generic, give me that device that's gonna capture a lot of information, that's gonna keep things simple, does not take a lot of money on my bank, and is gonna support my goals that I'm now getting back into. Fitbit is probably that one that falls right into that. But I hope that helps. I have links to everything in the description down below, so check that out if you want to see any of these devices. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to stay on top of everything where health and technology meet. And until next time, here's to a healthier you, and have a good one.